Welcome to the third edition of this chapter from your class 10th textbook Tulip series, and the name of the chapter is From the Diary of a Young Girl. Yes, Anne Frank writing a diary, and from that very diary we come to know about many facts about her life, about the social life those days, about the war, especially Second World War going on, and how did Anne confide with the diary in which she was writing her notes of life, happenings of life, and she named the diary as Kitty. This is her Kitty, her best friend with whom she used to share everything, and she found lot of patience in the paper. On the paper she used to write things and found that how patient a paper is. It does not argue. It just accepts whatever one goes on writing. So we have Kitty, the friend, the diary of the young girl, and diary of Anne Frank. A diary, a friend, a confidant named as Kitty. Anne Frank found her truest friend in her diary. What happened then? In the diary, she wrote a brief sketch of her life. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty, if I were to plunge right in, I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. And says that nobody would be able to understand what I have written in my diary. It is me who knows what is written in the diary. So, if I want to plunge in it, into my diary, I will provide a brief sketch of my life, which usually I dislike to share with anybody. I don't share my sketch, my life history with anybody, but with my own diary, known as Kitty, I would love to provide a brief sketch. So what she writes? She writes about her parents. What? My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, did not marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. See how beautifully she presents the picture of her parents, the age of her parents, the marriage of her parents, and how she presents the love for her parents, that she has an adorable father, lovely father, whom she loved the most. And then she says, my father is the most adorable father I have ever seen. And how she then describes him? She describes her father as the person who did not marry her mother until they were at a suitable age. And what was the age? The age of the father. The age of the father was 36 and age of the mother was 25. Father being at the age of 36 and mother at the age of 25. So what is the age difference? Difference is 11 years. how beautifully she presents this age gap, how beautifully she presents the gap of the years between the age of her father and her mother, and this 11-year gap has been beautifully presented by Anne. And Frank beautifully presents this and presents her father as an adorable one. Then what happened? Further, she writes about her sister. My sister Margot was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. And I was born on 12th of June 1929. See how she describes her sister. If we take this sister Margot and this is Anne. She says her sister Margot was born in Frankfurt. Frankfurt is a place in Germany. Frankfurt is a place in Germany. And where is Germany? Germany is a country in Europe. In Europe, Germany is a country. And Europe is a continent. See, Europe is written here in the diary, Germany is in the diary, and the years about when the diary has been written, it is round about 1945 when the whole world was burning with the issues of World War II. All these things we get from the diary of Anne Frank. But what she says about her sister, firstly she tells us what her name is. Her name is Margot. And where she was born? She was born in Frankfurt. Where is Frankfurt? It is in Germany. And in which year was she born? She was born in 1926. Then, see the age gap. Herself, I was born. I means here Anne. When was Anne born? She was born on 12th of June 1929. Again, see the difference. This is Margot, 1926, 1929. Again, the age difference. Firstly, I would like to clean it. See the age difference. Age difference again. See how we are able to integrate different subjects in our English subject. We integrated geography, mathematics, and also history. See, age difference. Margot, she is elder sister, born in 1929. No, Margot was born in 1926. Anne was born in 1929. So what is the age difference? Age difference is 3 years. So here from this diary we get to know that Anne's elder sister was 3 years elder to Anne. 3 years elder to Anne, and 3 years is the age difference. And what was the name of the siblings? First sibling is Margot and second one is Anne. Yes. Margot Frank, Anne Frank. So then, further, the diary says us that how the life in Frankfurt was. She says both of the girls were born in Frankfurt. Both were born in Frankfurt. And Anne had to live there until she was 4 years old. Anne had to live there until she was 4 years old. So if Anne was 4 years old, how much might be Margot? How much might be Margot? Margot was already 3 years elder to Anne, plus 4 years. That means at the age of 7. By the age of 7, it was until the age of 4 and until the age of 7 for Margot that they were living in Frankfurt. But the diary says here that Anne is speaking about herself, that she lived in Frankfurt until she was 4 years old. Then what happened? They had to emigrate to Holland. They migrated. See, immigration. We have the word immigration. Then another word is immigration. One means to emigrate, another means to immigrate. That means to visit a place, visit a place, or come to a place. And immigrate means to go out of the place. Or an area. So my father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margot and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. See the best part of the slide, best part of the diary again. What diary says about the history of that very time. Diary says, Anne, pointing towards her father, that he emigrated to Holland. They were living in Germany. From Germany, they went to Holland. Who went to Holland? Father of Anne. And in which year? It was 1933. But he did not go there alone. Who was with him? It was Edith Hollander Frank, she was the mother. She also went with their father. That means the couple went to Holland. In which month? It was month of September. So in the month of September 1933, father and mother of Anne Frank, that means Mr. and Mrs. Frank, they went to Holland. They migrated to Holland from Germany. But what happened to these two little kids? Two little beautiful girls. Beautiful girls were Margot and plus Anne. These two girls, they had to stay with their grandmother at a place called as Aachen. Aachen. So the place where they were sent to stay with their grandmother, so the family was separated. Horrors of war. War is going on. And during this war, the events of the war, they befell upon, calamities befell upon people, and the families were separated. Families were separated. So it was not only this family, Frank family. Frank family is just an example in front of us, because through this diary, through the family of Anne Frank, we get to know what happened to this family. It is not that it happened only to this family. It definitely happened to many of the families at that time, many of the countries that were involved in the war, who were the victims of the war. So they, being the victims of the war, or war suppressed them, and the families had to separate, father and mother on one side and daughters on the other side. But one thing was satisfying, giving solace to their heart. What was it? That they are under the love and care of their grandmother. It is the grandmother who is the caretaker. Grandmother is taking care of Anne and her 3-year-old, her eldest sister Margot, who is 3 years elder to her. So these things are to be thought about, because they tell about us about history. They tell us about geography. We come to know about emigration and immigration. That when they emigrated, they left the place towards Holland, and they immigrated. They migrated from one place to another. From one place they emigrated to another place they immigrated. So all these things happened during the war in 1933. Okay, when it was 1933, what could be the age of Anne? Age of Anne. We already know that for 4 years, when she was only 4, she was living in Frankfurt by the age of 4. But when she was 4, she had to leave the place and go to stay with her grandmother. So it is not only 4, it is her date of birth is 1929, and the year 1933 they had to leave. Again, she was only 4 years old when she had to leave her parents. She had to get separated from her parents and live with her grandmother. So what happened next? Margot and I joined them. They were separated, but there is a beautiful picture also. Lovely picture of the war again. If war has a horror, war also has some beautiful sides. That they again reunited the family reunion. When this family reunion happened, we will first come to know about what happened first. Margot went to Holland in December, and I followed in February, when I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. Wow! In the month of December, somehow Margot was sent to meet her parents in Holland. Margot went to Holland in December. So she left her granny from Aachen and went to Holland, and she united with her parents. Not only Anne was left with her grandmother, but it was following February that Anne went Holland and reunited with her family. So it has the series of events is like that. In 1933, it was the month of September when parents of Anne left for Holland. Then in the same year, it was December month when Margot was reunited with her parents, so she went to Holland. Again, in the following February, that means it could be 1934. Only 2 months passed when Margot reunited with her parents. After that, only 2 months passed and Anne was able to reunite with her parents and her sister. So all these series of events happened, and again here you can see the beautiful verse what she writes. She writes, I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margot. It means that it was the time of the birthday of her sister. And at the time of the birthday of her sister in February, she was presented, she was gifted to her sister as a birthday present. See, we have brought your sister here and you get reunited with your sister. Okay, then Montessori Nursery School. Now it is a time to school. After school, because everyone has to go to school. It is mandatory because you all are children and your first and foremost duty this time is to study. Study for yourself, to excel in your life, to know, to have knowledge about more and more things. So what happened? Anne says, I started right away at Montessori school. Montessori Nursery School. And then I stayed there until I was 6. At which time I started in the first form. See how beautifully he has written all those things, all the events. And says that I was 4 years old and I had to go to Montessori, a nursery school. Nowadays we say that we are in a crush. It is like this. It is not that crush, C-R-U-S-H, that I'm going to crush you or crushing something. No, it is not this crush. It is crush. The place where the preschooling takes place. Montessori is a place where preschooling takes place. Or a place where behavior is molded in a playful manner. Everywhere play, here play, there play, everywhere play, play. It is only play, but it is all the knowledge. Whatever you do, whatever knowledge you gain, at the age of 4 to 6 or 4 to 8, especially 3 to 6, in Indian form, from the age of 3 to 6, it is just a Montessori or a play school where children are prepared for formal schooling. So what happened? She went to Montessori Nursery School. I told you in Indian system we have 3 to 6 years of age. Children go to play schools or crush or these Montessori schools where we have 3 types of classes. or graded classes like nursery, lower KG or upper KG, or Balvatika 1, Balvatika 2 or Balvatika 3. And in this Balvatika, our children are prepared for formal schooling. And so again, during World War, when this diary has been written by Anne Frank when she was 4 years old, she was sent to Montessori school. Then she says that I stayed there until I was 6. But for what? Until she was 6, she stayed there. For what? So that she could start her first form. And what is this first form? First form means formal schooling. Here again, we also here have formal schooling. In first 5 years of schooling, we have nursery, lower KG, upper KG, class 1 and class 2. And this class 1 and class 2 is the start of formal schooling. Or we can say this is a link where children have a blend of what? Blend of play, reading and writing. So Anne went to Montessori school to brush her life, to have a training on formal schooling so that she could go to a formal school. Then school days. Now what are the beautiful days of the school days as you are in your schools, and this is the class 10th and most of the students among you might have been in the school from last 13 years, or some of you may be only 12 or 10 years in the school. It depends when you started your schooling. If one who has started schooling in nursery, he might be by now in 13 years. One who has started in LKG, it might be 12. One who has started in Balvatika or UKG, it can be 11 years. Or one person who has, the student who has started his formal schooling just from class 1st, he might have spent 10 years in the school by now. So you are in class 10th, and now she writes about her school days. In the 6th form, my teacher was Mrs. Kupras, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. This is what she writes in her diary. I am going to clarify it like this. Nowadays we have school system like 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. First 5 years I have already explained it. It is up to class 2. Then 3 years are from class 3 to class 5. And this starts from class 6th. But what happened in this during the war days? The school in Holland, it was up to class 6th. First form was up to class 6th. So Anne says when she was in the class 6th, her form teacher, Mrs. Kupras, she was also headmistress of the school. That means today we say she was the head teacher of the school. And this head teacher, what she did, she loved Anne so much that when they parted, because from class 7th onwards, Anne had to switch to another school. So when they parted, it was farewell. Both the teacher and the student, they were all in tears. They wept a lot. Why did they wept? because they loved each other a lot. They thought that they will miss this love. See, this time you are in school and you might be in this notion that when we are leaving school, oh, कब वो दिन आएगा, when will that day come when we will be leaving this school? But once you will leave the school, you will miss these golden days. Or you might have some teacher or teachers in your school whom you love a lot, and you will miss, definitely you will miss all those teachers. So keeping those things in mind, again, you can relate it to the topic here, that when Mrs. Cuprous, she parted or she bade farewell to Anne, they were both in tears. Both were weeping, the teacher and the student, because they found the scene as a heartbreaking one. The scene, the moment was the heartbreaking because they could not bear what they were unable to bear, separation of each other. They were so attached to each other that they were in tears. Then what happened? Then was a sad summer. What happened in summer? In 1941, Grandma fell ill. Oh my God. Lovely grandma of the, lovely grandma of Anne, she fell ill, and when she fell ill, it was 1941. Sorry, some problem is okay. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation. So in those days, again, there was an operation, or what we say, it was a surgery. So my birthday passed with little celebration. Grandma, lovely grandma, she became ill. And obviously when she was ill, it was summertime, and at summertime, during the summertime, Grandma had to have a surgery, and because of that surgery, birthday of Anne passed with what? A little celebration. There was no pomp and show. There was nothing like that, because everybody was so concerned about the health of Grandma. Then what happened? Oh, so sad. In 1942, it was the month of January when Grandma was no more. She died. She could not sustain the surgery. Grandma died, and no one knows how often I think of her and still love her. So Anne says, even though my grandma is no more, but in solitude, whenever I am alone, mostly she was alone, whenever I am alone, I think of my grandma, and when I think about her, I feel the love, and I feel her separation, and I feel the loneliness. She missed her grandma a lot. Then came the birthday in 1942. In 1941, Grandma passed away. In 1942, what happened? This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and the Grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. So birthday came, and when Anne's birthday came, cake was prepared, candles were lit, and one of the candles was lit in the memory of, and one of the candles was lit in the memory of Grandma. Because Grandma was no more. Grandma had died. Grandma died. Since Grandma had died, So, in order to feel the presence of grandma during the birthday party, a candle was lit. Along rest of the candles were also lit, but one of the candles was specifically lit in the memory of grandma. So as to feel the presence of grandma there. Oh grandma, we still love you. Then the four of us, there were 5 in the family: grandma, father, mother, and 2 sisters, Margot and Anne. Now, since grandma left this world, there were only 4. The 4 of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20th June 1942. It was 20th of June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my dad. That I am still dedicated to my daddy. I am still writing the diary, and it is which date? 20th of June 1942. What happened then? Dearest Kitty, a letter from Anne. Anne is writing a letter to her friend Kitty on the pages of the kitty, on the pages of the diary. And what is she writing? Come, let's see. Our class is worried. Our entire class is quacking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Oh my God. That means there was retention. Retention. What kind of retention? The students who were not able to do good or score good in their class, they were retained in the same class, and others who did well were passed on. They were decided to move up to the next form. That means when you secured good marks in class 9th, you were allowed to move up to class 10th. But the students, your peers, your classmates who were not able to do or score good marks, they were retained in class 9th. And the same happened because today it was teacher-parent meet, not a teacher-parent meet, a kind of promotion meeting. And in this promotion meeting, it was to be decided who is to be retained in the class and who is going to move. And see what happened on this day. It was full of fun. Half the class is making bets. GN and I laugh ourselves silly. And the 2 boys behind us, CN and Jacques, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. During the holiday, they had a saving. Somebody gave them money. They were telling, see, brother, you are going to pass. Another was saying, no, I will bet. You will pass, I will fail. You are going to move on, I am going to retain. And whole of the class was like that, discussing who is going to move on, who is going to retain. And there were bets. See how bets were taken. It was taking a bet or having on the bet. It was just not any kind of taken as a such kind of illegal or immoral act. That was taken as it's a moral thing. It is going on. But small children going on with their bets, it was strange. Nowadays we can't have such kind of classrooms in our classes. Now, then what happened? From morning to night, it's you are going to pass. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even G's pleading glances and my angry outbursts can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth. See how Anne refers to her teachers. Anne says, if somebody asks my opinion, I would say that quarter of the class, that means 1/4 of the class was like that, it must be kept back. That means if there are 20 students in the class, 5 of them must be retained in the same class and only 15 must be allowed to move on. But what would be the exact position? It depends upon whom? It depends upon teachers. Why? Because she considers teachers as the unpredictable creatures on earth, because nobody knows what teachers can come up to with, what they have in their mind, how they are going to judge their students. On a lighter note, teachers are the most lovely creatures on the earth because they know how good their students are. So, not so worried. Anne is not so worried. I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it. The only subject I am not sure about is maths. She's afraid of maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. So she was sure that we will not fail, we will move on, but only one subject was there, which was mathematics, which she was not sure about. What about the teachers? I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Only 2 women, female teachers were teaching her, and there were 7 men, total of 9 teachers who were teaching Anne. And one of the teachers was Mr. Keesing, who used to teach them mathematics. The old fogey who teaches mathematics was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework, an essay on the subject at Chatterbox. So Anne says that he was so annoyed that he did not leave any stone unturned to keep an eye upon me, and when he was not able, he gave me so many warnings. When he was not able to control me, at the end, he assigned me an extra homework, and that was to write an essay on the subject known as Chatterbox. And what did Anne do? At Chatterbox, what can you write about that? I would worry about that later, I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked it in my bag, and tried to keep quiet. So what Anne did? She jotted down the title in her notebook, kept it in her bag, but she was thinking, what should I write about it? And what happened that evening? That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen, and it usually happens when you are thinking about something, you go on chewing either chewing gum or the pen or the pencil, and predicting that we are thinking a lot about it. So thinking, an idea flashed in her mind. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. So she gave her time to thinking. She was thinking, chewing her pen, but while thinking, she suddenly had an idea. And what she did, I wrote 3 pages Mr. Keesing had assigned me and was satisfied. And then my argument. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about the inherited traits. So see how lovely she had an argument. See this argument. She argues that talking is the thing which one cannot control. And since I have inherited it from my mother, because my mother talks so much, and when it is the subject of inheritance, that it is an inherited trait, nobody can help it. So talking is my birthright. It is what she wants to tell. So she put it like that, and she was satisfied that I was able to write an essay about chatterbox. And this was all regarding today's topic. We will be again pondering about or discussing about the lesson in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.